Hello, everyone. My name is Alexander Remenkov. I'm a ruling reality coach, and today I'm continuing my series, Daily Reality with Alex. I'm doing this series during 2023, and I'm expressing all the things I'm constantly implementing in my own personal reality, and I'm giving you the hints why they're helping me in the way I'm moving to reality and in the way I'm actually having all my perceptions, all my knowledge, all my understanding, and why it is not good for all of us to lightly move through and look to life as it is so simple and that there is nothing that is expected out of us. And today I would like to speak about the indirect reality because it is correlating with everything that is happening with us. And it is a very deep subject. It is also very obvious, but since this is not a special teaching, it's not a special 3 or 5 points that I'm going to give you, it is called Reality Talks. It is a place where I'm sharing without script what I'm on a subconscious level, maybe more than 80% of my reality experience, doing in order things to be in alignment, things in my reality to be according to what is expected, and in order my responsibility and the way I'm taking actions to make lasting change in the environment around us. It is very important because we as human beings, we have the will, and we think that with this will and with this intent, we are able to directly influence or bend or express ourselves throughout all this reality. And we may be thinking that we are able to do everything and all of this alone. So I'm now going to give you some of the theses. And some of you can say, well, Alice, these are only theories that I'm using constantly in my own personal reality in order to differentiate myself from the current narrative and to give you a better options about what is working. And for disclaimer purposes, it is good that all of you know that I am a Christian and I am a believer in the existence of a creator and also the necessity of the existence of a savior for all the humanity. And long-term, throughout my talks, I'm going to explain why this is necessary and why, if we think that we are independent, separate, and we are able to move through this reality without acknowledging everything else that is in interconnection and correlations with us, that we are able to long-term succeed, not only in this reality, but also in the ages that are going to come. Because a lot of us are thinking that we're here only for 80 years, or let's say it's 90 years, and then everything is going to finish, or everything has never been started, and so on and so on. And there are a lot of big debates about what is happening. And that's why when I'm speaking about reality, I'm speaking from the perspective from non-understanding of the beginning, from non-definite information about the end, and an experience that we are doing here right now during the period we are in. So let's start from the beginning. In the beginning, God created two things, the heavens and the earth. And from the Greek translations, it is called the Uranus and Gaia. And why in the creation was started with these two substances, so to call, and why we as human beings are part of the dust and are part of the natural material existence of the so-called Gaia material or substance. But the more important thing for all of us to know when we speak about simulations, when we speak about matrix, and when we speak all these different types of theories, ideas, and wordings that we put about things that we actually don't know, it is good to always be open for different perspective about everything that we are doing, experiencing, and trying to comprehend, understand, or at least to align with. Now I'm going to give you some of my theses that I'm working on and constantly experiencing upon myself and researching from what are the different sources giving us to us. And also I'm constantly contemplating about why there are different possibilities for the structures that we are experiencing to exist. Anyhow, reality has structure, though we can feel that we can deconstruct, though through our mind, we can think that there are no limitations, there are structures, there are borders, there are different type of dimensions that are constantly interacting and correlating with each others. But if we think that when we say that we are in a oneness, that we are in a connectedness, that there is no structure. Yes, there is structure in reality. Yes, there is design, there is purpose for everything to be built the way it is built. And let me start with the matrix, and the wording for the matrix, it means the womb. All of us are living in an external womb we call the outer reality, through which we are constantly through the five senses experiencing. And then we have one more problem, and the second problem for the human being, that we were supposed to exist into this matrix or the so-called womb, but in the same time being connected with the beyond. And we can change the wording of the matrix with universe, with the experiential reality, and with the so-called material experience. Because if we can sense it with the five senses, then it is existence for us. And what we are sensing with the five senses is the so-called matrix. It's the so-called mother nature, or the so-called material experience. Then the problem is that everything in this matrix or this womb is created and governed by functional beings that are working into different hierarchical structures. And that's why when, for example, in the Bible, the Jewish people were taught not to worship any other god, but the creator of everything that is beyond the womb, and which is beyond the existence, it is because all those functional beings, for us human creatures, is very easy to think that this functional being is a god or the other functional being is the god. If we're trying to worship and to put our focus and attention on everything that is out there in the physical material reality, the matrix, the womb, the mother nature, the universe, the quantum field, or whatever you want to tell about these different parts, which are part of what is created in order for us to perceive it, then it's very important to know that everything that is beyond this is what is much more important, and where is the source and the essence of everything. Yes, we are not able to understand, to know, to physically touch the sources. And if you look into history, if you look in the narratives, if you look in the storytellings, if you look in the ancient books, all the time we have a problem with the sources. In today's world, we cannot extract the source in a material sense of all these narratives that we are building our worldviews upon. But that's why reality is indirect, and through everything that is perceived by us, around us, from everything that we are acquiring through storytelling, the so-called knowledge, the so-called universal acquired knowledge of the human beings, and so on, we are just using this information in order to know that there is something more and something which is beyond space, time, nature, or to use the label today, the so-called womb of existence in which we are just growing. It is an important fact because then it is possible to understand why we are using indirectly the reality of the womb, where all of the existence in functionality and interconnectedness is growing for all of us and generating this experience. And it is not only non-material, it's not only part of the mind. We are not part of the mind of God, as some mentalists can say. And reality is not only mental for a purpose and reason also, but we are to comprehend and understand that since we are part of the womb. And then here is the big thing about the paganism, that because the paganism thought, well, everything is alive, everything is moving, everything is functional, and everything is in correlation with us, the human beings. That's why we are to worship and to make images of everything that is around us, and we can perceive as functionality that is directly influencing our existence. And we are going to name thousands of gods, and we are going to honor these functional beings. Some are describing them as elementals. Are they in an existence or not? We can perceive it indirectly. But for sure, in order all the structure of reality to exist, there is a lot of consciousness going on outside of our individualized consciousness and perception, knowledge and understanding. And this is why we can never say that the solipsism type of thinking that I am generating everything in reality, myself only, and the moment I'm closing my eyes, nothing else anymore exists. It's in a very small concept where we have in the quantum theories about the collapsing of the way when there is an observer. And that's why all of us have a responsibility to know how to correlate and interact with the womb, the matrix of existence. And then there are different streams that are moving through this matrix of existence that are creating different types of agendas. And that's why, from the Christian perspective of the worldview, the only thing that matters in this matrix and womb experience is to penetrate beyond the matrix and to know the beyond creational being that is paradoxically impossible to be known directly. And that's why the figure of a savior, of a Christ, of the seed that is going to save the seed of the humanity and so on, is a narrative that exists and is showing us a way how to escape by transformational powers from the existence of this matrix and reality into the new one that is going to come. But this is a long-term process, and part of the process is the principle and the functionality of the death, transformation, resurrection, new bodies, and new experience in a new age of existence, where there is going to be a new womb of existence we can call new heaven and new earth. The problem is, and this is where the separation is created, because separation is part of the creation. Destruction is the cycle of a creation, and only the worthy ones are going to be able to move through the transformational process. And then we have invented in humanity, because of this, different ways, different religions to penetrate this matrix and this womb. You say, well, Alex, but why all this type of information, which is actually non-reliable and we cannot prove it, is so important for our daily reality thinking? And I'll give you just several examples how I'm using all this knowledge, all this understanding that is beyond space and time, beyond creation. And let me give you the first example. A lot of teachings, a lot of narratives, a lot of streams and urges are forcing us towards using our intent directly. And we think that if we have heard that it is possible with our words, with our intent, with our focus to create and manifest, then this is the only thing we are to do in this reality alone. Let me just share with you one very important part about the matrix of the reality womb, in order then you to know and I to know how to actually use our intents, because there is power in our intent. But we are to know how to correlate also with the above, with the so-called functional beings, in order to understand the causality and the effect. And if you rely only on the 7 hermetic principles about understanding reality, you are quite down in the basics of the understanding, because one of the big paradigm about reality, and that in reality happens only things that are allowed. It doesn't matter how much we want to use our intent, for example, in order to get married, in order to become rich, or to use all our desires in order to create things that are 100% selfish and are beneficial only for ourselves. One of the principles of reality is that it allows only things that are beneficial for the wholeness and beneficial for the long-term reality. And for the long-term agenda that is anyhow set already for all of us in reality. There are clocks in this womb, there are cycles in this womb, there is moving forwards towards a direction. Yes, there is a beginning of this womb creation of existence process, and there is an end, where we are somewhere between the beginning and the end of this existential womb we call reality. And then we have one more problem, because we learn how to use and why are we to use our intent in a non-direct experience. There are beings that are part of the separation that are thinking and are 100% involved into manipulating and trying to use this womb of creation and this womb in existence for their own personal agenda and a separational stream from the beyond the scene and beyond creation creator is moving forward. So in a sense, already there are beings that are controlling a lot of the functionalities in this matrix and womb. We call the world, we call our living experience and so on, because in a sense, there were intents long before we came into existence that already usurped, occupied, or take some positionings and have released their agendas into this creational reality generating experience womb, where all of us, of course, can use our intent, can generate our part of reality, but I would like to show you a more responsible and a more long-term way that is creating into this existence lasting changes, lasting things that are able to penetrate and be part of the stream of the transformation of this matrix and womb into something else, because there is a possibility. Number one, like a lot of fundamental Christians and other awakened people are doing, to resist the matrix, to resist the elites, to resist the rulership, and to try to go into a revolutionary stream where we are thinking that by changing the agendas and the functionalities that are already set and broken into this womb of existence, we are able to actually sustain it for much more longer. And there is a so-called satanic, archimanic, and there are a lot of different labels from a Promethean type of streams of existence that are trying to disconnect the womb from its creator, and that are trying to move into a reality where we are going to use, to exploit this womb for our own personal and internal purposes. And that we are able to create within and through this womb and matrix and existence the perfect existence of being that are 100% separated and are transformed and becoming their own gods, their own rulers, and their own life extenders. And there are a lot of different definitions into these streams. So when we move with our intent throughout this womb and matrix, it's very important for us to position ourselves into these flows, into these streams that already are in existence. And from one side to know and to recognize, not to worship the functional type of beings that are supporting everything that we are experiencing, but also to know the power, the strength, and the difference between the human beings and all other elemental and functional type of beings. It doesn't matter how mighty and powerful and experienced they are in this matrix womb creational existence because they are powerful and mighty only in their own functionality. And if you haven't recognized till now, the human being is a very complex being without any specific powers and functionality, but a complex, multifunctional being created to be like this for a purpose. And this is very powerful. And this is our way. And this is why we have never been encouraged from the creators of the womb to worship anything that is within the functionalities and to be attached or connected or to limit ourselves into specific functionality. Let's give you an example. Well, Alex, my biggest vision, purpose, meaning in this matrix you are describing is for me to be a successful, is for me to express and manifest as much as possible. And usually we paraphrase it with money, wealth, and so on from one part, or even if we paraphrase it in spiritual way, we want to be the most enlightened being, we want to be the most ascended type of being, the most influential, impactful, and so on type of beings. We want to be Buddha-like, Christ-like, or whatever type of beautiful and wonderful existential experience we want to express within this womb of existence. We cannot see that there are borders, there are structures that are holding all of us into our expression within this womb only, and the perspective of the transformation through times of and ages is not so easily able to be spotted. And there are a lot of debates, a lot of focusing that we can do, but if you are trying to think about, the intent is built upon urges, upon streams, upon pre-suggested type of movements that are put inside of us. And that's why it's not so easy to make an independent decision, even if at all it's possible to make independent decisions. And that's why throughout our experience here, the responsibility about our conscious intent, creational forces, and the way we are daily collapsing the waves is so important. And then the other very important thing is, what is our long-term agenda? Are we willing to keep? Are we willing to enjoy this construct? Are we willing to resist these constructs? Are we trying to escape this construct? And so many more different types of opportunity for all of us to experience specific part of realities, and we are free to do it. But what I'm proposing and what I'm after and what I'm interested in is the beyond. I'm interested in the beyond existence. I'm interested in beyond the five senses experiences. I'm interested in where the source of everything is coming from. And that's why I'm using my Christian thinking, thoughts, narrative, storytelling, faith, love, hope, or whatever type of different tools you can think about, but only with one purpose: to know the unknown and to be acquainted with the invisible and the one that is not possible to know, but indirectly through all the expressions. And that's why it's very interesting when we monitor this womb of reality to acknowledge everything that is like it is. And when we are looking through the five senses in everything, to never look at it as normal experiences, but to be able to construct and to be able to come to the beyond and to look at everything as doors of opportunities to know what is possible to be known only for sure on a such type of a level by a human being that is a non-functional and non-elemental specific type of being. And maybe this is one of the purposes why it was said that we were created by the image and likeness of something that is not visible and that is beyond functionality, beyond elements, beyond substance, and so on and so on. Then, of course, it is very important to know what is the difference between us staying into the womb, the matrix, where the elementals and the functional beings have their powers, and how are we possible to go and to dissolve the matrix experience and to be able to penetrate, and only through the indirect intent of not wanting to express in reality what we want, because we are biased and preconditioned through the womb and the matrix, but to be seeking after what are the agendas of the beyond, what are the streams that are coming from the creators, and then to be putting our intent upon expressing the beyond into the physical materiality. And this is what I'm after. And of course, you can use all these principles in a very practical way. For example, if you want to become rich, it's not possible to become and to come directly. And that's why everything in reality is based on the seed and the womb principle. That's why one of the way we are defining the God is the Father. So he has put the first seed into the existence in order everything to start. And we as human beings, the only thing we can do is to seed our seeds through the intent, through the wordings, or to say it in another way, through the expression of our essence that is hidden deep inside of us into the five senses, physical matter, reality. And then to wait for opportunities to grow, for different type of suggestive experience to happen into our reality that are going to confirm if what we are after is going to be allowed into the matrix of existence to be developed. And this is very important because, as I told you, there are billions of different elemental functional beings and human beings and different types of beings with different levels of consciousness and different type of hierarchical, constructural, experiential levels. And still, for all of us that are part of the existence and part of the creation, there are allowances necessary for our expressions to be put forward into the growing womb generating reality experience. And this is why things are not happening like this in reality. And this is why constantly one thing is monitored about us, because if we think that we are the observer, be sure that we are also constantly observed. But Alex, what exactly I'm observed about? Is it only about my deeds, to make good deeds, to do all these types of wonderful and nice things? No, it's not about the expressions primarily. They are just secondary or thirdly part of what is monitored. But basically, what is monitored is our worthiness that is to be developed and expressed into the reality. But it is not possible to happen without a communication and without an imprint, influence, and impression from the beyond creation types of beings and existence. And that's why if there is a womb, if we are part of the existence, be sure there is a cord that is possible to connect us to the beyond. And I know we cannot feel it. I can know that we cannot explain it, but for sure I'm using the power, the narrative, the creation, the existence, and the reason why the figure of a savior exists into this reality. The reason why once this womb is created and why once the generating of the existence started, with it also started a transformational and a saviory type of process where the transformation towards the new womb, the new matrix of existence, is already happening, and the process is ongoing still from the beginning. And of course, this is very important for me, and this is part of the way I'm aligning into the reality existence. So instead of looking only into the matrix, instead of looking only into you, where it's so easy to be manipulated and to be put into focusing about different functionalities, upon different elementals, and we can very easily be attached, hold, put into different types of bubbles and comfort zones. It's much more better to always put and anchor ourselves into the beyond and to hold for our cord of existence that was given as a gift to us in order not to be able to escape now, not to be resisting what is now, but to move through the transformational process and passing by here to be transformed into a worthy for our next phase and age of existence. And this is part of why reality is indirect in many senses, why we are constantly deducting, why nothing looks like simple or easy to understand, why everything is so complex and correlated, why we the human beings are interdimensional border zone creatures, and why we are constantly experiencing a reality built by different type of paradoxes. And instead of being against distinctions, dualities, and so on type of being, and instead of just trying to be in oneness with the womb, it's much more better to prepare ourselves about the beyond, so-called oneness with the womb, so-called whatever type of thinking you want to say about, but to prepare ourselves about our creator beings that are setting for us the transformational agenda and the ability to put us into our next experience. So this is all I was willing to share, that everything is reality is non-directional, everything is very deep, and we are constantly just looking and feeling or sensing only the surface. And based on this, we're indirectly deducting what are the possibilities about the beyond. So don't worry, while we see, while we are with the five senses, we are constantly actually not seeing the beyond. But anyhow, this is part of the contradictions of reality. And that's why in reality, it's not necessary to know, it's not necessary to see, it's not necessary even to predict everything beforehand. I know that the human beings like the beforehand a lot, but it's not part of the necessity in order to experience, in order to exist, but also to know where are we from, where are we going, what we are. And it doesn't matter if we like it or not, there are a lot of moving parts going on all the time. And be sure, me and you are not the individual consciousness which are on the top of the pyramid. So thank you for watching. Enjoy your reality and encourage yourself, and let us encourage ourselves to move forward towards the beyond through all our experiences here. Bye-bye.